Pittsburgh Steelers OTAs and minicamp are already behind us in 2025, but as we await training camp, veteran beat reporter Mark Kaboly relayed several winners and losers of spring activities during an X post on June 17th. To no surprise, struggling 2022 third-rounder DeMarvin Leal was among the losers, and it's looking more and more likely that the fourth-year edge rusher could be hard-pressed to make the roster this summer. Leal put on some weight and was working exclusively at outside linebacker, which had Alex Highsmith praising him. Kaboly began before pointing out Leal's latest setback. Then he was gone, the Pittsburgh insider continued. I am not sure what happened and if anything happened, but if there was one guy who could have benefited from spring reps, it would have been Leal. For this reason, Kaboly placed the loser tag on him, and that's a fair assessment. In 3 NFL seasons, Leal has only registered 1.0 sack and 3 tackles for a loss. He's become an afterthought, and now he's buried on the depth chart behind TJ Watt, Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and rookie draft pick Jack Sawyer. If anyone needed a good spring, as Kaboly noted, it was Leal. He'll have to find a way to make more of an impact during training camp and the preseason, and that all starts with being on the field. DeMarvin Leal expected to be cut in early 53-man roster projection. In an early 53-man roster projection, Steelers Now beat reporter Alan Saunders agreed that Leal could miss the cut in 2025. In fact, he predicted it when he left the former draft pick out of his projection entirely. Not only did Saunders keep just 4 edge rushers, Watt, Highsmith, Herbig, and Sawyer, but he also made it clear that Jeremiah Moon would have been his 5th outside linebacker if he had the space. Jeremiah Moon is a tough cut, but the top verse so good at outside linebacker that it's hard to imagine him playing much there, and Malik Harrison can fill his role on special teams, he explained. Leal, often seen as a tweener throughout his career, wasn't mentioned in the Steelers' defensive line section either. Needless to say, this all pretty much confirms just how much he's being overlooked as we head toward training camp. Steelers' Alex Highsmith called OTAs and minicamp winner, with TJ Watt joining Leal in the loser section. Circling back to Kaboly's winners and losers post, 2 other edge rushers made the list, Highsmith and Watt. But they were placed in opposite categories. We heard more about TJ Watt not showing up to off-season workouts than anything to do with Highsmith, Kaboly wrote, while calling Highsmith one of the winners of spring. Highsmith was there all the time, filling in as the leader of the linebackers as youngsters Nick Herbig and rookie Jack Sawyer followed his lead, he reasoned. But that is beside the point. Highsmith worked his butt off during these practices when nobody would have blinked if he hadn't. It has been quite amazing how he has come along in just a few years. If somebody has a better spin move than Highsmith, which he practices every day, I'd like to know who, Kaboly went on praising the veteran. The quiet, workmanlike, and dedication to bettering himself during a meaningless time in the season impressed me. Can I say a 13 to 15 sack season? I wouldn't rule it out. As for Watt, as you'd expect, he ended up in the loser category due to his ongoing contract situation. However, Kaboly clarified that this one is more of a technicality. Wouldn't miss a thing when he decided to skip the entire offseason because of what we assume is a contract dispute, he wrote. Watt has been quiet, other than a peace symbol he posted on the IG a few months back, so everything we think we know is coming secondhand. Still, nothing good can come out of skipping a mandatory team function, Kaboly argued. Not only is Watt a loser over this development, but the Steelers are also. The veteran reporter assured fans that a deal will get done, but the absence is still a negative overall. The Pittsburgh Steelers boast one of the best defensive histories across professional football. Each position is chock full of excellent players across the team's full history. One such player for the linebacker group is Joey Porter Sr., who spent 7 seasons with the Steelers at the beginning of his playing career. Porter won Super Bowl 40 with the team, as well as receiving one of his 2 first-team All-Pro honors with the Steelers when he did so in 2002. Both his second-team All-Pro honors as a player came in 2004 and 2005 when he was with the Steelers. He would reunite with the team in 2015, spending 4 seasons as the team's outside linebackers coach. Now without a job and with a son in Joey Porter Jr. on the Steelers, Porter wants to return to the Steelers as a coach. In an appearance on the Not Just Football with Cam Hayward podcast, Porter spoke on his past and future involvement with the Steelers organization. The funny thing about it was, I'm in the stands because I told Mike Tomlin Mike is good. Man, do you want to come? I'm like, nah, man, until they give me a suite, I've got to sit in the stands, Porter said. I ain't trying to use my Steeler power of being on the sideline because it's giving mixed emotions. I know how much I really do want to coach. I'm not trying to sit down here to look like I'm trying to ask for my job back, knowing I would take it back. But you don't want to come off like that, and I want him to be a man and do his thing. While Porter wants to come back, it is unlikely the Steelers would part from many of their productive defensive coaches, so a coaching return is more likely for Porter outside the Steelers organization. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't sign former All-Pro cornerback Jaire Alexander. Instead, he landed with the Baltimore Ravens. But it doesn't sound like the Steelers tried very hard, if at all, to sign the veteran cornerback. The Falcons he was considering, the Miami Dolphins he was considering, Fowler said on ESPN's SportsCenter on Saturday. But Baltimore had the clear edge throughout that process. Fellow ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter reported on June 18 that the Carolina Panthers pursued Alexander. But Schefter portrayed Baltimore as the favorite to sign the cornerback. The Ravens are in the conversation, and there is mutual interest. Neither ESPN insider named the Steelers. Because Pittsburgh wasn't even mentioned, it's not clear if the Steelers were flat out not interested or if they initially pursued Alexander, and he didn't consider them. But one could infer with Fowler and Schefter both omitting the Steelers from their reports that they weren't involved in Alexander's free agency. While that's not super shocking, it will be surprising to some. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer floated the Steelers as a possibility for Alexander during a mailbag answer on April 30th. Since then, there's been chatter about the potential for Alexander to start opposite Joey Porter Jr. in Pittsburgh this season. Steelers not interested in Jaire Alexander or other CB free agents. Unless fans want to get caught up in a "we didn't want him anyway" game, it doesn't really matter if the Steelers pursued Alexander or not. The 2023 second-team All-Pro will be on the Ravens roster when the Steelers renew the rivalry twice this season. But the fact the Steelers were apparently not involved for Alexander is likely a strong indication that the team might not be interested in any cornerbacks still available this summer. Pundits previously linked the Steelers to another former All-Pro cornerback, Jalen Ramsey. But on Friday, Schefter reported Ramsey is likely going to play for a West Coast team this season. Schefter didn't make any mention of the Steelers in that report either. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox also argued Thursday the Steelers as a landing spot for veteran slot cornerback Mike Hilton. Unlike Alexander, maybe the Steelers will make a late push for Ramsey or show interest in Hilton. But with insiders leaving Pittsburgh completely out of the conversation, the implication seems to be the Steelers are content with their current cornerback depth chart. Pittsburgh may be more comfortable with their options than many think, Steelers on SI's Noah Strackbine wrote Sunday. With Corey, Trice, and Brandon Eccles, the team could be set on the outside with depth. On the inside, which is where their next trade could come into play, they may be fine with Beanie Bishop and 7th-round pick Deontay Kent. Steelers cornerback depth chart. Steelers fans on social media have pushed for the team to add Alexander or Ramsey to start opposite Porter. But the Steelers signed 34-year-old Darius Slay, who seems to be taking on a little bit of a leadership role early in his tenure with the team. In the slot, pundits expect 2024 undrafted free agent Beanie Bishop Jr. to start. The Steelers also have 8 other cornerbacks on their offseason roster: Brandon Eccles, James Pierre, Dante Kent, Sean Jamison, Quindell Johnson, Cameron McCutcheon, Kyler McMichael, and Corey Trice Jr. It's not surprising given the inexperience and/or inconsistencies of those players and Slay's age that Steelers fans expected the team to pursue Jaire Alexander and Ramsey. But the team appears ready to roll with their current cornerback room entering training camp.